послание для тебя, Кику. Когда ты приедешь, я покажу тебе свой город с высоты птичьего полета. Ты увидишь, на что это похоже. Хотя на самом деле здесь совсем некрасиво.
Я хочу изменить себе имя.
Она отведывает от себя корабли будущего. Всех призраков своей матери она ищет отца. Мам, ты любил моего отца?
Сомневаюсь. Да, привет, слушаю. У меня тут родственница приехала. Да, негде остановиться. Может, нет?
В кроне дерева посреди ее острова копошатся птицы. Корни уходят в могилу. В ней отец.
Грустные стихи. Про смерть.
The developing of the project and whole shooting and post-production process was very long. So it takes kind of 5 years from synopsis to the final print. Finally, it became as a co-producing between Germany, Denmark, Russia and Armenia. It starts with working with French producer. And yeah, this is the main information. So now, because I know that every of you have a project in different stages, we have support from few international funds. We have also supported by our national funds, because I'm a citizen of Russia and Armenia both, so I have support as a national film from Russia and from Armenia, because they have this treaty, so it's not like bad for them. So now, and even Germany now are putting us in the German films, you know. It's interesting thing about, like if you have more than one or two co-producers, each country still think that your film is there presenting them. So this is a good, because it increased the audience of your film, actually.
So how did the idea come to you, and where did it start from?
It starts from Sofia Film Festival, which was they were screening my previous film, my first film, and they asked me, I have an idea of second film? So very quickly, because I had some things, but like when somebody asks you to write half page, you are writing it finally. So I sent it, and they invite me with this project. So I had a first public pitching in Sofia, and it was pretty good audience, I think, because now I understood what many important things for this film rooted there in that meeting. Because there was Franz Schordenkirchen, who is now head of selection of Torino Film Festival, Torino Film Lab. Yeah, Torino Film Lab. And he really helps a lot, because, you know, like presenting your story, having a pitching, for me it's not only about spending money or the producer, but starting this work of speaking about your film with people, yeah? Because from this moment you start to understand, do somebody except you and your friends like it? Could they find some connection with it or not? So when I start speaking with Franz, who is from Germany, and Jean Deforest, who is from France, and I understood that it's interesting for them, they would like to be a part of it. And after you find Albie James, who is from Great Britain, and all of them, they made so big impact for film. And even if they're not like, they don't have a credit now as a producer, but you could see their names in a thanks, and but they work, and the impact is really big. So I'm grateful to them, and I think this That's also, like, for me, from very beginning, even my first student films, I was trying to do them internationally. I was always trying to combine people with different nations, because it means that if you all could find some connecting points, so it's not understandable, it's more general story than just some small thing. For example, when we was making Lighthouse, it was a Georgian scriptwriter, it was me, Armenian director, it was Serbian set designer, Ivana, and a Russian DOP, for example. And we sit all together, this 4 nations, but we all perfectly understand what we are speaking about, because each of us had the same story in his country, and we could find this connecting point and like общий, как будет? Common point, yeah. Yeah, we started working with Jean because he really loves the project. He wants to be a part of it. But he, from the first time, he was saying, you know, if I could find money from France, I became a producer. If not, I'm happy to be into this to develop. Just after Sofia was Belgrade B2B, also pitching with award prize, and I won this award. And we started with Jean, because part of award was money for script consulting. So he said, I know a good script consultant, so let's use her. It's Claire Downs, maybe all of you know her. Mm-hmm. So we had a session of script consulting in Paris with Jean, Claire and me. And it was tough, of course, because when you're writing something personal and you have 20 pages of something, you don't know yet what is it. And somebody came and started to open you and say this. Yeah. For this film, script writing was most long period, and also financing was going in parallel, and it lasts, I think, 2.5 years, something like this. We applied to Franchute, we get rejected, and he started to work on Aquafreya del Mar, his first film as a producer, and he was really busy there. So, and we could, if I could be patient one, and I said, okay, let's wait until you say, because he was saying, let's wait. But for me, it was so long waiting, 3 years already behind me. So no, I couldn't wait. I should start. And we actually start shooting, only having a grant from Göteborg Film Fund. It was 10,000 euro. It was only cash we have, but we have a negotiation from Paradise, but they will came in as soon as we reach the second half of shooting. So he said, as soon as you reach the second part of shootings, we will give you 100,000. I said, okay, let's try to start with 10,000 and get reached to, because pre-production was pretty difficult and long, but we find really great people, and a lot of people come to work with us for free, just because they love previous works, or I don't know, we have good connections from Lighthouse. Of course, it was very difficult, because when we reached this second part of shootings, money didn't come in time. So we was in a big debt. So trying to call to everybody, could you give us 10,000? I will give you back. It's not usual thing to $10,000 ask. But also through some friends, we get some credits. So we could close our expenses during the shooting, and after Paradise also sent the money, so we closed all things. Also, the strange thing about this film, we had a post-production. Because first time we made the post-production when we was thinking what we have no money for post-production actually, except we get our Danish partner as a post-production partner, because they apply to Danish Film Institute and they get money, and as soon as they have their own color correction facilities, they said, okay, we could be a part of your post-production as a color correction. So all money which they have from Danish Film Institute went there. But I don't know why, I couldn't say exactly why, but probably because it was first time for my DOP, the color correction, and also for the guy who was working on this machine, so it was the first feature for them both. I wasn't really happy with colors we get in this first variation. And also I had a not really comfortable situation with sound because when we was going to production, to shooting, my producer decided to work with the most like exciting, how to say, proposition, yeah, which she have from Bulgarian guys. And they said, oh, we will give you for very good price the technique and the people for shooting, but you should work with us in post-production. She didn't say me this next part, but we obliged to work with them. Like I was thinking, okay, if we like, we work with them. If no, we'll go to the sound director who I really love and who always is my sound director. So I said, okay, but after we discovered what all our material, sound material, is in Bulgari, and we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't get it without paying 7,000 euros. No, 70, yeah. So this was really like, you couldn't get out. We was trying to do something. We made a sound, but also I wasn't happy with the sound. But I was lucky enough to, after 3 times rejected from Russian Ministry of Culture, and a 4th time, when the film was already like finished, we think, okay, we are not happy, but we should finish because we are so tired of this film. We get money from them for post-production. So we had 250,000 euros, no, dollars. And we made the post-production we like. We made a good sound with Russian sound director, who I love, and we made the color correction also in Moscow with people who understand me clearly. And now I'm really like okay with film.
Did we record all that?
No. We more like the sound was direct sound, but it was more about mixing.
Yeah, okay.
Like in mixing in Bulgari, something went wrong, and it wasn't like clear sound. You know, it was like mess, and it sounds like. And also we changed the music, so I had a chance to try, and now I have 2 variations of film. Germany was more we could say nominal participation because we get money from World Cinema Fund, and we should have German producer who we will have a money. Yeah, so we didn't. It was really in the big cooperation, but with Denmark, we was really like in touch every time. I was in Denmark like 4 times during the post-production, and they help us a lot with posters, with advertising. The trailer, for example, it's they make it. Yeah, so we are happy with the Danish guys, really. We made all color correction there. Yeah. This first color correction was there. Yeah. So they couldn't spend it on some foreign people or some. They only could pay for like the money should stay in Denmark. Yeah. To a small company, Oscar Film. Now this guy Anders Kotlander, he works also in Nimbus Film, which is bigger. So, but they are very active. Altogether, it's I think 550,000 euros. So still, it's a low budget. And also, we went through Torino Film Lab. We were selected there. So yeah, it was interesting because we had very good tutors there.
And you met Franz in Belgrade, you said?
In Sofia.
Okay.
Yeah, year before.
Training with him, and then you went.
No, with Franz, we was more like just having an exchange of emails. He read the treatment. It was nothing special, like nothing official. But after he wrote like, okay, I'm here in Torino. Would you like to be a part of it? And I said yes. It's interesting for us because Victoria, my producer, for her it also was the first feature as independent producer. So she also, I think, learned a lot.
Is she Armenian or Russian?
She's Russian, but we based together with her company in Armenia. Yeah, now it's on festival still. Distribution in Russia would be confirmed by Paradise. He is who owns the rights for CIS and Russia. So he decided the tactic of distribution. But also Victoria and our other creative producer, she's working as a booker, yeah, film booker. So she knows a lot of cinemas. And probably we could use this more independent way. If Paradise said, okay, we don't see big future, like let's make only five copies. So we could say something others. Yeah. Because now in Russia it's a little bit going more wide and wide the distribution for independent films. my previous film, for example, it was on 40 copies. First one was on 5 copies, The Lighthouse, and The Entropy was on 40. So it's increasing the number of people who want to see independent film. Me and DOP was Armenians. Producers were, the producer, she was from Russian. Our sound guy was from Bulgaria. And the rest of group, many people from Russia who came for free, working for free. So it was, for example, our makeup artist, our editing on the set, and the focus puller. It was perfect DOP group.
And what about now? If you started from the beginning, do you risk again to start it?
Of course, because like, you know, there are things which you should do if you want. And there are only one day to do it. Like you couldn't...
And when you go to producers' workshops, they say, don't do this, never go shooting without having all the...
Yeah, exactly. I gave this advice, but if about me, I know myself, I know at that time I couldn't wait more. Like it was impossible for me. I will never make this film if I listen to somebody and decide to wait 1 year more or 2 years more or 3 after. Actually, I will not want to make it more.
But you have no state funds from the Russian and the Armenian, no?
Yes, we ask for state money from Armenian National Film Center, and we have it also. But it's coming in kind. It's not in money. Like they give you some equipment, or they could say you, okay, you could go and buy in special shop your books and papers. So and we could give the money, but they are not paying. So it's not a real money. And the Russian Ministry of Culture is a real money which comes and you could spend it, but only you should after show where it went. And after you should go, and there are some obligated things you should send them. Like for example, until now they said that you should give the print. Even if you don't have a print, if they use their money, so you should make a print for their Gosfilmofond.
But you have DCP, right?
Yes, we have DCP, but we made a print special for them, you know. So, yeah.
Also, like, you edited the film. I mean, like, which is not only quite impressive, but I believe, I'm wondering, because you had an editor before, and where was the editor? And if it was even worth going through this, because I just feel like if you weren't happy with the color correction, and that was part of the co-production agreements, you had to do it again. You didn't want like the edit that you got, so you had to do it by yourself, which makes me kind of, I think it's great that you did it yourself, obviously, but then it makes me like, okay, well, what's the point then of a co-production if you're not getting the quality people, because you had a sound person you wanted to work with, and in the end did a better job anyway, and you knew that from the start. But then you have all these regulations. And
no, but this is like, you should go to compromise, you know, when you don't have all money, so you think, okay, or I don't have a money at all, or I should get some compromises. But about editing, it never was, for example, our Danish partners, they even would like to participate in editing, and they even find an editor, but you know, the version she made, it wasn't impressive at all. So, but this was obvious, because films I shoot mainly should be edited by me, because nobody could understand how to make. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is it. You should try. Sometimes it went even better if you are not probably so much in a hurry, or because when I was thinking about French co-production, I had an interesting person, editor in France, who I would like to work with. So if it went this way, probably it would be better. Okay. But for example, with Germany, they have no obligation. Even you could have this money from Gosfilmofond, but you shouldn't spend it in Germany. Yeah. But for this Fonds Cinéma du Monde, it's also 50% you should spend in France. So it could be post-production or it could be DOP, but first 50% of the money they gave, you should spend there, or for their citizens.
Explanation that it took you years.
Yeah.
You said 2 years.
No, I said 4 or
4
even,
years.
yeah, or 5
Question is 5 years.
even.
What do you do in between, in general? Because that's actually the question I have. I'm making 2 films now at the moment, and there are things happening there and here. I'm working on the 3rd film, and I realize for me, for example, it's a little bit problematic because I cannot concentrate. Nerves going here and there. So you're more experienced. Tell me how do you find the balance?
No, it also was like this because, of course, starting this work from synopsis to treatment and script, this was, I say, long period. Of course, I was working as a second unit director or as a, I don't know who else I work, but of course I was going to work. And exactly after we shot this film in 2010 and 2011, I went to shoot another film. And that another film, it was also at Harrods, but it was finished before this one because there was money. This Entropy, and it was 1 year. It was enough for that film. It was completed. It went released even before we finished this one. So of course, doing something in between. Of course, accepting other work because there is no other way to live. You should gain money for living also.
Is it inevitable that when you have so many sources of money, that you will be sort of like prolonged? The more sources of money.
I don't think, in our case, I don't think mainly it was because of sources of money. It was more probably because we don't have such a big experience. And also, the second thing, but then it's a low budget production and you couldn't really okay, I had a shooting, now I have enough money to be quiet for 1 year or at least half year, yeah. Just after the shooting, I again should go to work to have a possibility to live, yeah. So, of course, when you go to work for another film, this time you take out of this one. So that's why it's a management. But for example, if in Entropy's case, we had all money in place. Again, it was low budget. It was only $300,000 whole budget, but it was in place. And of course, it was much easier and much quicker.
Well, 3 things you would suggest us not to do, let's say. These things, because now we have a lot of sources of information, and you maybe your practical suggestions, knowing Soviet post-Soviet world,
Try, yeah. As Gracia reminds me, that was right. Don't start shootings before you have at least 70% of whole budget. Really, it's not help. It's such a big headache after. So try to collect money, be patient, collect it all, and after start. Maybe you could defer some honorar of main authors, yeah, if they agree. But even this, better not to do this, because again, it will mean what after when you came to him and say, okay, now we go to color correction. He said, no, I have another work. I didn't promise you nothing, because I need to leave, so I go now to work on other projects. But you need him now, for example. So, again.
So actors and actresses, you mean that if they agree to defer something?
No, with actors it's better. With actors, better, because
What do you mean?
I mean actors are more, flexible, and they want to see the film. We didn't know how big would be our final budget, so with set designer and other people, and even me. I wasn't paid for script, for example, until the final, this unexpected post-production money, which actually finally closes the gap of my script, which I didn't paid never, yeah. So it's possible.
So you started doing 70% of cost, then go ahead. That's where you.
Yeah, this is my advice, to do like this at least. So second thing is not try to be too much enthusiastic when you have a first prize, because if the second, for example, support didn't come, you could be too much upset. Just believe what the way probably could be long, but you will reach the final destination if you are patient and if you work in that direction every day. Sometimes it could be very quick. Sometimes it really lasts years. But anyway, if you know what you want, you will reach.
Yeah, how many shooting days were there?
We planned 42 days, but we made it in 36. But we lost material of last 5 shooting days, which was 12% of the whole story and the film.
Digital or film?
Digital, and we never get it back. So that's why editing was also very long, because first I was editing with this material because they gave us the bad quality one, so I shoot it with it. No, I edit with it inside. And after, when we went to color correction, and these people who take this our material, they said, okay, we will sending you the good quality, and they understood what they have no anymore. So it was very fun. Because because we was working without money, so when we rent a camera, we could pay whole money we should pay after the shootings. And they said, okay, we will keep this material of 5 shooting days last. So they keep this material and they give us only the bad quality, like, to use. And they said, okay, when you came and pay us the rest 7,000, we will give you back the material.
So they kept it hostage, basically.
This is thing you producers should never do. You could give your hand, you could give your heart, but never give the material of the film, never. Like never, and for nobody.
So they didn't give you back?
No.
Because you didn't pay, or because
No, Victoria paid them, the producer, and because she was, and they said, okay, we will put it on FTP. You could go to Denmark, be like, it's okay, everything is solved. And we came to to Denmark, and I had a feeling. I said, Victoria, but why you didn't bring it with you? No, they said it would be on FTP. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. Victoria, where's material? Victoria, where is material? So
you lost it?
this is a third advice: never give the material or your sound material. Never give it to nobody, and make a lot of copies, and never put it as a hostage.